All right, and welcome to the Vonu Podcast, the podcast making you invulnerable to coercion. I'm your host, Shane, coming to you once again from the homestead here in Southern Illinois. So this is a live stream. As always, please feel free to drop any questions or comments you may have in the live chat. And real quick, please check the show notes for a link to BitChute and LBRY, LBRY. Consider following us on those video sharing platforms, as I feel our time here on FascistTube is limited. I'm trying to be proactive about the situation and build up a following in advance. I think that's the wise thing to do. Anyway, today I'm joined by Alisa from the AlisaLovesChickens Instagram, an account I followed for some time, which also just happens to be one of my favorites. She is another individual living the homestead life. Lots of pictures of the chickens and the land, tips and advice on homesteading, and overall really just how she's building a self-sufficient life despite the totalitarianism sweeping up the world. And despite it being on a fascist book-owned platform, I still do consider her account self-liberational media, so please do go shoot her a follow. So yeah, Alyssa, welcome to the Vonu Podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. That was a very nice introduction. You're very sweet.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm having a good day. How about you?
Oh, it's going good. Going good. It's I think it's like 65 degrees out. Got all the animals taken care of this morning, so and got to go on a little side by side ride with my dog. So yeah, no complaints here. It's been a good morning so far.
Yeah, the weather's good here too. It's about 70 today, so my plants have all the sunshine and maybe the dirt's going to finally dry out enough I can get out there and weed it. But
Yeah.
it's actually supposed to freeze Friday, so I'm a little bit scared.
Oh wow.
It's supposed to freeze Friday night, so I'm not sure. We'll have to see what happens to all my little plants. I'm going to have to get out there and cover up like 150 seedlings with
Yeah,
plastic
yeah.
and sheet, but I'll do it, so whatever.
Yeah, I had to do that 1 year. I guess this would have been. I think it was 3 years ago. Yeah, but I only had. I think it was like a two by 10 raised bed. So it wasn't anything as large as what you had. So yeah, that'll be a little more of a task. But yeah, you got to do what you got to do, right?
Yeah, you gotta save your babies.
Yep, indeed. So I guess first off, to begin, since you are a new voice to my audience, would you mind starting with an introduction? Who are you? What do you do? And I guess what made you choose this lifestyle?
Well, I'm Alyssa, obviously, and just a 38-year-old, woman in Kentucky with kids and a family that, um, honestly, I just started this last spring, and I mean, my family does it. My dad and my stepmom, they grow food, and I've always had a garden, but it's just not something that I did myself until, last year. And I love doing it, personally, it makes me feel good. I love
Mm-hmm.
getting out there, getting in the dirt, watching plants grow, all that. I mean, that's part of the reason why I do it. But the reason why I started is because I don't want the government and I don't want other people controlling my food, not just the government, anybody. I don't trust where my food comes from unless it's on my land at this point. So
Yeah.
that's my main reason. I want to know what's going in my body, and I want to know what's going in my kid's body. And also, it's basically like growing money. So
Yeah. Yeah,
that's
yeah, that's
that.
true. That's true, and that's a very good point. And it's something I've been, I guess, since last year when I really got I guess I got obsessed with health and nutrition, which means I got obsessed with food, and really high quality food. And yeah, it's a minefield out there. Basically 99% of the stuff you find at the grocery store, even the best stuff they have there, like even the best, all natural meat, is riddled with a bunch of stuff that is very unhealthy. So that was my main reason this year too, or I guess this year
I
as
mean,
well
it's
for
really
getting
hard.
started.
It's hard to eat store-bought meat now for me. Like I've done
Mm-hmm.
so much research on just how much healthier it is for these pasture-raised, small
Yep.
farm, grass-fed, meat. It's just it's the benefits are so far and beyond what it is at any store that you can get, just because they don't feed their animals right.
Yeah.
Just like I mean, you have to put good stuff in them if you want good stuff to come out, and we have to do the same for ourselves. So
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
that's just it. It's not that even hard to figure out.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's the saying, you are what you eat. Well, it's one step further than that. You are what you eat eats. And
Yeah.
yeah, with that yeah, the diet that these animals are on is not good. It's not good. It creates very
It
unhealthy.
changes the whole it changes the whole composition of their meat. I mean, the whole everything's different. It's amazing. I mean, like you said, it's a minefield out there, the education that you can get just reading about what you put in your body as far as you eat. But yeah, it's I'm even at the point now where like I have to bring my own cows out here. I want to know what my cows are eating. I don't even want to buy it from anyone down the road anymore. So
Yeah.
I want to see what they're eating every day. So
Yep, exactly. And it's unfortunately, that's the point I've gotten to in mostly anything is, in most any avenue of life is, I wish I could be more trusting of individuals and businesses, but I mean, it's really hard to be trustful, or to be trusting, and especially with something as so important as food. So
yeah.
yeah. Very good start to the conversation. I like that. I like that. So I guess the next introductory question I have for you, and it's just out of curiosity, because I've follow you on Instagram and also Twitter as well. So and just so my listeners can get an idea, where do you stand ideologically, philosophically? I'm not going to say politically, because I don't think that's accurate.
Well, I don't like to label myself politically, so I'm glad you said not politically. Yeah. I mean, as you might know, I started my Instagram as a Bernie supporter, and from that, before that, I was an Obama supporter. So, I mean, of course, I ended up hating Obama, and then went towards Bernie and thought, that, we needed this government to take care of us, and it was the government's job to, do all these things, and the reason I thought that is because I thought it was the good thing. We're taught that that's the moral position to have, and I slowly progressed, and now. I wouldn't say that I went conservative whenever I was, more supportive of the things that Trump was saying and the things that the conservative movement, the newer one, is doing now. But I liked the more of the freedom movement, the more of, removing government restrictions, lowering taxes, all of that, because in my mind, like, I don't even think government should exist. I mean, federal government at all. Like,
Right.
They don't do anything good for us. I don't think the government should have any role in our education, in our food, in our anything. I mean, they've done nothing but destroy everything. So at this point, I'm just basically, I wouldn't even know what I would call myself, but I just know that I just want to I think that people should just do everything for themselves. The government should get out of your life. We don't need them taking our money. And, self-sufficiency is freedom, freedom movement, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've got your Instagram pulled up here on screen, and you put up a meme, I guess, yesterday. It's an Edward Abbey quote. If America could be once again a nation of self-reliant farmers, craftsmen, hunters, ranchers, and artists, then the rich would have little power to dominate others, neither to serve nor rule. That was the American dream. End quote. So that's kind of the idea then. Yeah, I definitely agree.
I mean, and it goes beyond just being able to control your food and, your kids by homeschooling and growing food. I mean, you can even control how much money they take from you. And the more you do for yourself, the less money that goes out of your house, the less that you need to be out working, and the less money that they're going to be able to tax. And also, if you can focus on being, having your own business, then you can avoid taxes altogether. I mean, they say we owe money, they ain't coming for us. So, there's just so much involved with being self-sufficient and having freedom. There are very many aspects, and people just need to figure out ways to do things for themselves completely. Because that's the only way you're gonna get out of this mess. That's for sure.
Very, very well said. Yeah, the more you can provide for yourself, the less you need from the more control you have, and then also the less you can finance the beast. So yeah, I'm right there with you. So I guess let's go ahead and talk a bit about your homestead. Could you tell us a bit about your setup? What animals are you raising? Tell us about your garden, etc.
Well, right now I only have chickens. I have 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 chickens, and I have 18 chickens, and I have 3 hatching some chicks right now. So this is the first time they've been sitting on eggs hatching chicks, so I'm super excited about that. Might have more soon, actually within like probably a day or two, because they only sit on them for about 3 weeks.
Mhm.
But besides that, I don't really have any other livestock. This weekend, my fence is going in, and I'll have, you know, pretty much about a half acre fenced in for my goats, and I'm planning on getting 2 girls and 1 boy, Nigerian dwarf goats, so I can milk them and do all that fun stuff with them.
Mhm.
And I just have about an acre garden where I'm out there just planting. I have about, I'd say, half an acre planted so far, and plan on getting out there today and putting some green beans down. And the other acre is going to be for cantaloupe, watermelon, and pumpkin, which should be going in within 2 or 3 weeks if we can get the weather to be not so crazy.
Yeah.
That's what I'm dealing with right now. I mean, I have 3 acres out here. My yard is 3 acres, and I have an acre that is not being used for anything right now. It's basically just like it grows real tall and the butterflies come all summer, and we don't really use it for anything. But what I plan on doing is fencing that area off this summer too, because what I can do is raise a couple of my own cows out there,
Yep.
and I can raise my cows, from calves. And I might not be able to at the point where I can butcher my own cows right now, but I can pay a butcher, and it only costs me a couple $100s for a calf. I get to feed it grass and greens and water, and so that's what I plan to do with the other acre.
Yeah. Very cool, very cool. So I wanna hone in on something specifically here because this is definitely relevant to me. And I want to get more to the basics of raising chickens, since I'm sure there's some listeners out there that would like us to get back to really get to the basics. But I have not done this myself yet. I haven't even gotten eggs from my chickens yet. Hopefully in another month or two I'll start getting eggs. But I guess could you talk about the hatching process? I guess basically tell us how that works and how easy, or I guess how easy or difficult it is to do.
Well, I've never hatched eggs myself. This is the first time I've actually have hens that are sitting on eggs. So,
Okay, gotcha.
Because I've only had a rooster for about 2 months now. Before, I just had a bunch of hens that've been laying eggs, and I found a family that was trying to get rid of a couple roosters. So I took one, and he started fertilizing all the eggs, and as soon as he started fertilizing them, they started sitting on them. So that leads me to believe, I guess, the hens know when their eggs are fertilized, because now I have 3 hens up there that for almost 3 weeks now won't. I mean, I get in there and get eggs, but they really don't want me to take any eggs at all right now. But so the hatching will be, I'll post about the hatching within the next few days, I'm hoping.
Okay. Gotcha.
Some chicks hatch.
Gotcha. Very, very cool. Yeah, that's the next step for me.
Sometimes it's hard though to get them to sit on the eggs, though, I've heard. So I've been told I'm very lucky that my hens are sitting. So I don't really know what gets them to do it, but I have 3 that are very dedicated right now, and they're sitting on about 20 eggs.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
Gotcha.
I'm sure not all of them will hatch. I'm sure there's like some duds in there, some that aren't fertilized maybe, but I'm learning through this too. But I've had them for a while. I got my chickens last the end of July. So, and they started laying eggs. They start laying about 6 months old. Are you 6 months old yet?
Oh, they are beginning of March. So I guess they're only 2 months old. So I guess 4 months. 4 months from now.
Yeah, they'll start laying like about 6 months old, but I mean, mine lay an egg a day. So I have the hens that sit on the eggs don't lay any eggs right now where they're sitting, but whenever they're not sitting, I mean, my chickens will lay an egg a day, so I've got a dozen a day now.
Yep, so, that's what I'll have. A dozen chicken eggs, and then hopefully at least a few duck eggs a day. Hopefully.
Yeah. I don't have ducks yet, but I want some.
Yeah, they're. I mean, if they look different, but that's it. Like they eat the same. Like they can eat the same food. They just eat the meat bird stuff, and I mean, yeah, it's no difference no different than the chickens at all. So I guess let's talk a bit about that. Could you talk about I guess raising chickens? How do you feed them? As far as how do you what do you feed them? Could you talk about I guess free ranging them? How you go about doing that without them running away and not coming back? A little bit about that.
Well, at first, I mean, I was able to just have my coop, when they're little, they stay in that. And I was able to let them out, and they didn't run away a lot when they were little. But of course, I will say that my first flock, I bought 8 chickens, and I lost 5 of them because a dog came. Because I got so comfortable leaving my chickens out, because they never left. They always just stayed like right in my backyard, like right next to their coop, and they were all so cute, just like laying under the trees. And then I ran up to the store, and then my daughter calls, and she's like, "There's a dog like eat." And I mean, actually, I had went up to get my oil changed, and I had to go out to the Walmart, like people at Walmart, and say, "You need to stop working on my car because something's eating my chickens." And I just took my car out of that shop and left with all of their shit in my car, and I just went. And yeah, they had eaten like all but 3 of them, and it was so sad. And then a hawk got another one of them, so that's another thing. Like, my biggest issue has not been with keeping them in my yard, because I'm able to watch. I spend a lot of time with my chickens. I'm always out there with them. But it's these hawks and dogs. These hawks will just came right down and just took one of my rooster's necks right out of him, right in front of me. And so that was sad. And so that was my first flock. I went from having 8 to like down to having 2. And that hasn't happened since. But what I did is I got 2 of those big old dog kennels and put them together. And I have that out there for them in the morning. And so in the morning, of course I close their small coop, because you can't leave that open anyways, because foxes or possums or, whatever will, get in there and get them. But in the morning, I just let them out in that big old area. And then about 1 or 2 in the afternoon, I just let them out just to roam. And they don't try to leave, really. I mean, they wander to the neighbor's yard sometimes, but I think it's because I'm out there a lot. I think the more time you spend with your chickens, I think that people think that chickens are just kind of, stupid, and they don't really care about their owners, or I don't know. But the more time you spend with them, like when I go out there, my chickens run to me. They run. They want to be around me. They want to see what I'm doing. If I'm in my garden, they want to know what I'm doing. So, I think that's the key. If you want your chickens to stay close to home, spend a lot of time with them when they're young.
Yeah, they've got to enjoy being home.
Yeah. And they're so sweet. They love me so much. I just love my chickens so much. I wish you knew how much I loved them. But, I'm sure everybody that has chickens just loves them. I think you don't know, but until you get them. But as far as like what I feed them, first thing in the morning, I just take them, leftovers from the day before. They eat what I eat, unless there's certain things they can't eat. Like, you don't want to feed them, onions and chocolate. You have to look up the list, but just like any other animal, there's certain things you have to avoid. But, I just, basically all your leftovers. I buy them that, the grain from Rural King, the meat bird stuff too. But they mostly eat just our leftovers and greens, bugs, stuff like that. I feed them cracked corn, grain scratch, but mostly, like I said, they just eat what we eat, and and they love it. So they love meat, don't they?
See,
crap out of meat.
I have not fed my chickens meat yet.
Because they're little. I was really scared. Yours are still little. I forget. I was really scared to feed them. I guess you should probably wait a little bit, but now they can eat anything. But yeah, when they're little, they can only eat that little chicken feed.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'd heard of a couple other odd things, like feeding them eggshells, which seems like very cannibalistic. But anyway,
they love chicken too, which is kind of sad. I don't purposely feed my chickens, I guess, because it fucks with my own head, because they really don't know. But like one day I just went out there and I had some like leftover chicken salad that I had made, and I fed it to them, and I went in the house and I'm like, I just fed my chickens chicken, and they don't even care. Like, they love it. But people do it all the time. It's kind of sad, but they do. Yeah. And the eggshells are actually really, really good for them, because your chickens need, lots of calcium to keep their eggs strong, because their eggs are not just going to be strong for no reason. Just like we were talking about earlier, what cows eat and what we eat. What your chickens eat determine how strong their eggshells are going to be, and how healthy their eggshells look, and how clean and nice the insides of the eggs look when you crack them. And so I mean, you feed them their eggshells because it gives them, it's about the best source of calcium you can give them. And that's what they need.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
they're, making so many eggs all the time.
Yeah, exactly, and something I guess I went ahead and bought it. It's the basically the omega-3 eggs. I guess the egg feed. I'm not exactly sure what it's got. Flaxseed and a bunch of other stuff in it. Now obviously I'm not at the point where I feed them that yet. But have you are you planning, or I guess have you fed your chickens any of that for, I guess, maybe a high omega-3 fat content, or you just or is that not really concerned?
No, but I've read about it. Like I've bought them, I feed them like sunflower seeds and different things that have, higher, better fats in them and stuff. Because, you can change the nutritional value of your eggs by doing that. So
that's why I have
whenever
chickens.
you choose to feed your,
yeah.
Whenever you choose to feed your chickens, give them more omega-3s and stuff, and your eggs that you eat in the morning, or, whatever you use the eggs for, are going to be more nutritious. So,
yeah.
I haven't done it yet. There's certain things that I add to their feed, garlic, molasses, different things that help them. But I haven't really focused on adding any extra fats or anything like that yet.
Right. Okay.
But they've all done really good. As far as just free ranging and eating what we eat, I don't think. They've been laying since, months now. I've had, hundreds of eggs, and I don't think I've had a soft egg yet.
Yeah. So,
whatever they're eating is good. Free ranging's good. All those greens are good. So.
Yeah. Yep. Indeed. So I'm gonna. We've got a couple people in chat here. So I've got the host of the Voluntary Contrarian podcast here. Very cool. He asked, "What's the plan with the goat milk?" Well, for me, I plan on drinking some of it. And then also goat cheese. Goat cheese is incredible. I just started eating it a couple months ago, but I eat it basically every day. So that's what I plan on doing. And you plan on getting goats as well. So yeah, what do you plan on doing with the goats, the goat milk?
Well, milk and cheese was the main goal, just like you. I want to be able to provide, milk's something that we use a lot, and so I want to be able to get milk and cheese, and then butter. Like, I'm so excited to make butter. I don't know. I just love butter, and I cook a lot. So I'm so excited to make homemade butter. And also, with the goats that I've chosen to get, with the larger goats, when they have babies, they might only have one or two. If you get like the dwarf goats, they can have a litter of 3, 4, 5, 6.
Really?
And
okay. Yeah, my little little Nigerian pygmy is she's tiny.
Yeah, and they have more babies than the bigger ones. And so what I think I'm going to do with that is, I tell myself, okay, I don't know. I don't think I could butcher my own animals at all, but I can sell those babies and try to use that money to compensate for having someone butcher the animals that I raise.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing. So, their babies are worth money too. So you have, milk, cheese, butter, all that stuff, and then you can sell the babies. So
yes, and that's really and yeah, you're exactly right. That's a good point. And again, it's along the same lines of financial independence. But yeah. And it's something I should have done last year. Like I was not thinking last year. But yeah, the goats you can sell. I paid $75 for the male goat, $125 for the female. Like if you can pump out a few goats a year,
isn't that crazy?
you can
cost basically nothing.
Yeah, they're super cheap, but like all of this is just like side income. Like it's there's a lot of opportunity. There really is.
And then on top of that, like my stepdad last year, he started, which I don't know if anybody listening has any kind of 4-H programs near them, but he started going to the local 4-H center because they were given they had beekeepers coming out teaching people about bees, and now he has 3 beehives.
Oh, nice.
So what he's going to do is he's going to bring a beehive over to my house. So now I'm going to have bees to pollinate my garden. And then I'm going to also have honey, which is another item awesome. That you can use. So much stuff, but then you can also sell it. So, that's another thing that people should look into doing because it sounds a little bit scary, but I've been watching them and it's really not. It's really cool. Bees are crazy. They're amazing. People should learn a lot about bees.
Yeah. Yeah, and see, like I'm not see, like I'm a type 1 diabetic, and I don't really consume carbohydrates, but I would consume raw honey like straight from the hive. I
Yeah.
definitely would, without a doubt. Uh, yeah, without a doubt. So I guess is there anything else you wanted to mention in regards to chickens? Any other tips or tricks that you've learned about raising them that you'd like to share?
Well, I mean, no, just that. I mean, I think people think that it's, hard to take care of them, and even that you need a lot of space. And um, I don't think that you do. I think that even if you just have a small yard, you can get them a small coop, and you don't have to get 10 chickens. You don't have to have eight. You can get 4 or 5 chickens and have enough eggs, for your family. Because there's going to be days where you don't eat eggs or eat as many eggs, and so the next day you have a little bit more. So you don't have to think about having, all these chickens running around all the time. You just need, a little yard, a little place for them to stay safe at night, because they're so sweet. Like, they're so sweet that you don't even have to put them in their own coop at night. Like, they're scared of the dark. So you can let them out in your yard to walk around, and they're going to get up in the bed and go to sleep at night by themselves. And you just close it and let them go to bed, and in the morning just let them out. Um, and just like I said, they're easy to take care of.
Yeah.
They're very cheap to feed. And they just make you so happy. Like, I just wish people would invest more time educating themselves about them, because there's not a lot of animals that can bring you so much joy, and pets that you can have that also give you food. So
Yeah.
um,
That's
I just
true, and
when I got
that's a
them, I
good
really
that's a good
thought,
thing to emphasize. It's very little effort. It takes like five, like if you don't have to exert much energy to raise chickens, and it doesn't cost
no,
anything. Like it's a no brainer. It's
no,
a no brainer. Get some damn chickens, guys. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, no, that's it. I mean, just that I love them, and even when I got them, I mean, I thought that I would, especially love them when they were chicks, but I just thought, I would just have chickens for like essential reasons, But I love them, you guys. I love them so much. So they'll make you happy and give you food. So I just suggest that everybody get some chickens for sure, if you
Indeed.
can. And if you can't, then figure out a way to get somewhere where you can. So.
Yes. Yes, so we've got. I'm gonna return to chat here for a moment. So, yeah, voluntary contrarian lost a rooster to dogs. Yep, that's common, I guess. That's definitely common. Phoenix of Liberty, welcome. Good to see you here. Voluntary contrarian, we picked up oyster shells to supplement our feed, mealworms too. Very cool. Phoenix, why is it a good idea to feed your chickens their own eggshells? Covered that, but do you want to cover that again real quick? Since he just real yeah, quickly.
Well, just like the
eggshells.
same reason that the guy said he bought the oyster shells, which, I mean, you can use different shells, but I mean, you can go out and buy an oyster shell supplement, which I have that too. And you don't even have to give that to them every day, and just like you don't have to feed them their eggshells every day. But the thing about the eggshells is that you're going to give them if you want to give them a supplement to harden their eggshells, which is the calcium. What you're doing is trying to give them calcium, and eggshells have lots of calcium. The thing is that you already have eggshells because you already have eggs.
Right.
So there's no really any reason for me to go out and buy extra oyster shells if my chickens, when I crack my eggs each day, I just save the shells. So and
Right.
feed it to, and they love them. I'm telling you that my chicken's favorite treat is eggshells. I will put corn, grains, granola, sunflower seeds, which is all things that they love. They love meat. They definitely love meat. And they love fruit and stuff, but they fight over eggshells. They just run over the yard and take them from each other, and they just love them. I think it's because they know they need them.
Yeah.
So, they love them, so I give it to them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very very cool. Very cool. Let me see if we have anything else in chat real quick before I return to. Okay, looks like we're good there. So I guess let's talk a little bit about raising goats, because I'm sure we both know about we both know about the same amount. I've only had mine for a couple of weeks, and I still don't really know much. Although they're not, again, like the goats are not the goats are not difficult either. But I guess what have you learned in terms of I guess from your research on raising goats?
I mean, my mom has a couple. I don't even know what breed hers are, but they're bigger, a lot bigger than the ones I'm going to have. And so I kind of already know the basic structure they need. They don't even need a house as elaborate as a chicken house. They just literally need
mine's stay in the chicken coop with the chickens.
Yep. Well, well, that's great. I really hope that mine love living with chickens too. That's what I hope. But they just need basically a 3-sided kind of structure, just, 3 walls and a roof and, hay to get in there and stay warm and stuff. And I mean, room to roam. But as far as that, I don't really know.
Yeah.
And that's all I figure.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you feed yours? Yours eat anything besides just like feed from the store? Because basically, my mom just feeds them, the feed from the store. So
yeah. So right now, for the first week or week and a half, they're getting just goat feed from the store. I think it's like corn and molasses and a couple other things. I'm not sure. But
anyway. I know they must love vegetables, so because I've been told that they'll destroy my garden. So I know that they're going to eat plants and grass, and they're going to mow my grass. So obviously their main diet's going to be the greens and stuff, because I'm going to have this. I can't wait. I'm going to have this all like fenced in, and hopefully my chickens and my goats are going to have like about half an acre to just roam together all day, right up away from my garden, but where they can come on my back porch and sit with me all the time anyways. But that's one thing. I mean, you can't have I guess you can't have a garden and chickens and goats all free together, because right now I'm out there spending a lot of time defending my garden from chickens because they want to eat it. Yeah. That's another thing people need to know. They will eat your plants. That's for sure.
Yes. And I do plan on basically the goats hopefully after Saturday. After this weekend, they'll be on basically probably 80 to 90% pasture, and maybe 10-15% just supplement with hay. So like that's the idea. I had a big problem with keeping them in the chicken coop. So they're in the chicken coop right now. They haven't been on pasture, unfortunately. But I said, screw it. I could try to let them out on the fence, but if I lose them again, I'd be very frustrated. They're fine for a week or two in the chicken coop. I call it the Taj Mahal coop. It's not small. So yeah, they've got enough.
I'm sure they're fine. I'm sure they love it in there and having a good old time.
Yeah, terrorizing the chickens. Yeah, yep. They're one of the biggest male that I have. He just runs around and rams shit. That's all he does, is just run around and ram other goats and runs into chickens. And
my mom's
he's a jerk.
Do that.
He's a jerk.
Yeah, my mom's goats have They have horns like that, and I was very scared of goats for a while, and that's part of the reason why I'm getting the goats that I'm getting. I mean, the Nigerian dwarf goats, on top of being able to have more babies, they have one of the highest fat contents in their milk. So if you're worried about, getting goats and you don't think that you can drink goat milk because maybe it tastes a little bit different, you're going to want to look for goats that have, high fat content in their milk. It makes the milk a little bit sweeter and tastes a little bit more like cow's milk. And so that's another reason I chose them, because they have a higher fat content in their milk, but also because I can handle them. I mean, I'm 5 foot tall, and I have my mom's goats, when they stand up, they tower over me, and they're running at me like he's trying to play, but he's got horns. I mean, I'm afraid he's going to snatch me up. So
yeah,
these little goats I can pick up by myself. I can take them where I need to go. If I'm going to sell them, if I need to take them to a vet, if I need to, run and chase one that's ran away, I can pick these goats up myself, and they're still going to give me milk. They're still going to, be cute and fun and do all the things that I want a bigger goat to do, but they're going to be a lot easier for me to handle.
Right.
So,
yes.
That's the one thing. And she ended up, I think she castrated hers because it was ramming her all the time. So hers can't even have babies now. So I don't know.
Yeah. We'll see. That's something I have to think about. And then the previous owner, the person who raised her, the person I bought the goats from, they said that I needed to get him dewormer, which I looked into it. It's been a week. And she said I had a little time to decide what I wanted to do with it. But I don't know for sure if that's necessary. Like I'm very, very skeptical about those things. Like even with my dog, like the tick guard and stuff, like I give it to her, but I feel like it's probably a scam. I don't know for sure. Right. But I don't.
I'm exactly the same way. Like I'm exactly the same way. Like I went, to get
'Cause
my dog.
how did dogs and goats survive without big pharma? Like they survive
Exactly.
fine
Like
without
I
big
don't want to put.
pharma.
I even feel bad putting a flea collar on them. Like I have outside cats, and my mom keeps coming over and attaching these gray flea collars to them, and I keep taking them off because I don't know what's in them. And then she comes and puts them back on because she spends all these money on them. She's all worried about them, but I feel the same way. But I don't want them to get ticks. I get it.
Right.
But also, like, I don't know, they're poisoning them. I took my dog to the vet, and they tried to force me to give him some kind of shot, and I was like, we're just out of here. We're leaving. I was like, because I wanted his toenails clipped, and I couldn't do it. So I was like, can you just clip it? They're like, we're going to have to. And I'm like, all right, we're out of here.
Yeah.
But I'm exactly the same way because, I mean, how could we try? I mean, imagine what they shoot us up with. They put all kinds of poison in us. They poison our food. They poison our medicine. They lie to us. They don't give a shit about dogs.
Right.
That's why I'm even like I posted a link on my Instagram today about making your own dog food. I don't care how good the dog food at the store says it is. I'm not even going to feed my dog that anymore.
Yeah, I feed my dog raw meat. Yep. Yeah, she
exactly.
she eats grass fed and pastured food just like I do. Yep. Is it? I mean, the food will do the same thing to her as it does to humans. It's gonna do the exact same thing. And I'll mention this to you because you might be interested. You might be interested if you have dogs. But there's something interesting to look into. When my dog hits 5 years old, there's a substance called rapamycin. And it's a natural substance. It's $100, and it's basically like a 10-day. It's basically a 10-day supply. But in all of the trials that have been ran, it extends dogs' lives. So, just worth looking into. And for anyone out there that might have dogs, I might be a freak about this, but she's my dog and I love her. So, I feed her raw meat. She eats expensive meat just like I do, and because why the hell would I poison someone that I love? Like, that's retarded. Anyway, so let me see here. Back to my outline. I guess the other question I have in regards to the homestead is what else do you have stored in the future? I know you mentioned goats, but what else do you have in store?
I think my main goal, what I really have my mind focused on, is digging a well. Like, I need to get away from this water. And it's not even like, of course, I don't drink, the sink water, whatever. But I'm bathing in it. Like, how am I not going to take a shower in this water that I know is poisoned?
Right. Sorry to jump in,
it's
but
going on my plants.
Couple days ago, I learned about something else. Like it's city water. Like it's a small town of it's a very, very small town, but it's city water, quote unquote. But there's chlorine in it, and I did not know that showering like hot showers, you're inhaling chlorine fumes every single morning. I had no idea.
Yeah, and then people in cities, I mean, just like those people, what was it, in Flint?
Yeah.
I mean, not even just like what they put in the water to preserve it, but these water systems are
chlorine
so
is
old
in everything. It's required to be in there.
Yeah, that it just... Hey, Quinn, hold on just a second. But, like, the water is so poisoned anyways. My next goal is to, dig a well. And it might cost me, at the most, $5,000, which is a major... It sounds a lot to people, but that's if I have to actually hire and do have them put everything in and dig everything for me. But imagine having clean water and then never having a water bill. So, and then having the government not control your water, not be able to just turn it off. I don't even want to know what's coming. They could just turn people's water off. Like, say they didn't like you. You just turn your water off if they wanted to, really. I don't even want to go into what they put in it, but like I said, just bathing in the lead is probably going to be bad for us. So, that's my next goal. That's my main goal. A solar panel. I have neighbors out here that, have one solar panel. I don't know how big it is. I mean, like 10 feet long, 5 feet wide, maybe. And that powers their whole house, their whole farm. They have more land than I do. More things to power than I do. And so it cost them, $10,000-$15,000, but imagine no one controlling your energy and also never having an electricity bill again. So those are my next two things. If I'm going to invest in anything, it's going to be a well first. So I'm looking to get a well or have one dug, and then after that, get myself a solar panel. And like I said, the cows, fence that in. But
Right.
that's all I have on the horizon right now.
Yeah, well, it sounds like we're on the same page. I mean, my biggest determinant was I wasn't sure with the way things were going currently. I wasn't sure if I was going to bug out of the U.S. or not. But it seems like I might. But if I'm going to be here in the long haul, the objective is to be off grid. I mean, there's a well on the property already. I need to just use it. That's the smart thing to do. I don't know why, but it's because the people that live here, the people that lived here before set up that way. But yeah.
Yeah, what people don't realize is that, water will just collect under the earth, and like you can just have free water, like clean water. You just gotta, just dig it. Like there's so much stuff we don't know. It's just so crazy. But I don't know. We're so dumbed down, but we can just educate ourselves. I don't know if we can do it fast enough, but we can try.
Yeah. Yeah. So the wells here and yeah, the electricity, that's it's basically set up for off. It's basically set up for off grid. I've just got to make the moves, and the animals are more important first.
Yeah,
because
well, you're lucky.
I need meat. I need meat like in the short term. So the animals are the priority first. I'll deal with the water maybe end of this year. We'll see.
Yeah, it's a big task.
Yes, indeed. So I guess the other thing I wanted to kind of touch upon briefly, because it's mentioned explicitly in both of your profiles, and it kind of goes right along with the homestead, like at the homestead style life historically, and that's homeschooling. So were you homeschooled yourself, or do you happen to be raising some little rebels outside of the indoctrination camps?
Well, I mean, yeah, I have 2 kids that I homeschool, but I wasn't homeschooled, and they weren't even homeschooled the first through elementary school. Mm-hmm. I mean, my youngest daughter, she wasn't pulled from public school until she was in 5th grade. And it, I mean, I wish I would have done it sooner. I knew it was the right thing to do sooner, but now, I'm glad I've done it. It's a lot easier than people, think it's going to be, because, I say that with my older ones. They're 13 and 17, or she's almost 17. But I think it's a lot harder when they're younger, because you have to teach them to read, arithmetic, all that kind of stuff. And my kids were already, helped along with the teachers at school with all of those things. So by the time I pulled them out, they already had the basics down, and they already know that they already know what they have to do to get, to appease the state. As far as the work goes, so they don't give me a lot of trouble as far as like our, what our curriculum is, because it doesn't matter if you really agree with the things that they teach your kids, through middle school and high school. The thing is that they intrude on your life. And so what they do is they'll call me and, ask me, not too intrusive. I guess Kentucky's not so bad. And I think actually this year they're worse than they were the years before. They have we have a new governor. We have a new superintendent of our schools in this county. And so now they're having me, bring in what kind of programs I'm using, like what I'm teaching them. And so what I have to do is I just I use a Khan Academy and use like some, $20 a month program that helps me build a Common Core curriculum, so that I can have something to show them, as I don't give them a lot of busy work to do. Basically sit down maybe an hour, 3 or 4 days a week, and do some kind of crap on the computer, as far as like, we practice the math facts and all that kind of crap, and do the thing. But you have to have something to show the state. That's just where we're at.
Right.
So you have to have something, to show the state. So you're going to have to get a program. You're going to have something down, or they'll come take your damn kids. They will take, if you don't have something, show them what you do. I mean, you could bite them. That's what I wanted to do when they first started asking me, like, what are you teaching your kids? And I'm like, well, I'm teaching my kids. I have these programs. And I ended up showing them everything that we're doing. But I didn't even want to have to do that.
Right.
I didn't want someone who doesn't know me or know my kids to come in and tell me that you have until this date to do this, 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 and this. And ultimately, for the benefit of my kids, I know that, I don't want the state coming in, snooping around my house. And I went and dropped them off and showed it. I mean, but the majority of our homeschool is not all this crap on the computer. It is, being outside, taking care of
Mm-hmm.
animals, planting stuff. My daughters just plant seeds all day, watch things grow, take care of animals. They love to cook. They love to learn all of these things. And so that's another thing. Like I turn that in as part of their homeschool too. So, they don't have PE class. They don't have art class like that are, structured like the school does. We just do the basics because they want you to do a little bit of history. They want you to do a little bit of math. They want you to do, all this stuff. And I agree, they got to know some math. They have to know, how to function in the world. But I make them do basically what we have to do to get by on that. And everything else is just outside. We're outside doing stuff. We're learning what we think is important because ultimately, your kids if my kids want to go to college, that's fine. My older daughter, she, has always done really well academically. And, she's very smart and she's always wanted to go to college. My younger daughter's smart too, but she doesn't really care so much about that. But, and that's great too. And I'll support that if that's what you want to do. But ultimately, what we see now is that can be taken from your kids, from you in a heartbeat. Your job can be snatched from you. Mm-hmm. Your income, your 401k, your retire, everything gone. But if you can teach your kid, if you can get a plot of land and teach your kids how to use it, you can either give them the information to go on and do that when they're adults, and then nobody can take that from them. Nobody's going to take their food from them, and nobody's going to take the things that nobody's going to take that knowledge from them. They can't. So no matter where they end up in life, no matter what the government does, they're always going to have that to go with them. Yeah. Especially if you can invest in getting some land for your kids. I can't imagine doing anything more for my kids than having land just to leave them that I've taught them how to use. Mm-hmm. And so that's my ultimate goal. I want to support what they want to do. My older daughter now, she has met a good boy and they're actually, he's talking about buying land and everything. And so they just want to get land and build a house and have babies. And I don't say this to her so much, but I'm more proud of that than I am of her just wanting to run off to college and spend, $75,000 to be, we don't even know what she's going to be or mm-hmm. If that job's going to be there when she's done. So, I'm going to support, whatever she wants to do. But like I said, you teach your kids to take care of themselves, and that's what homeschooling needs to focus on. Self-sufficiency, and because that's the only freedom that they're ever going to have.
Yeah, life skills, and what's more valuable skill than knowing how to feed yourself? There's no more important skill than knowing how to feed yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. Even instead of encouraging them to go do some kind of worthless, I don't know what they teach them, all kind of bullshit. But you could encourage them to go my son is 21, and I'm really trying to get him to go in trade school because you can go and get your welding certificate, go and learn how to build some stuff, go and learn how to do things that your kids can take those things and open their own business and have their own stuff going, and they don't have to depend on going and getting a degree and going and working for somebody else. We can be teaching our kids, these skills that just self-sufficiency. I think, land, teach them how to raise food, and teach them that they need to really control their income in a way where they control all of it. They control how much the government takes, and control how much work they do and who they're doing it for. So. Mm-hmm.
Yes, very, very well said. Very well said. So we've got another question in chat here. What's the biggest challenge when it comes to raising goats? How many goats would be a good manageable number? There's really been no challenges thus far, as far as feeding them and keeping them in the chicken coop. But yeah, but when they get out, they're not easy to catch. And I got really lucky. I thought I lost 2 of them. But thankfully, goats are smart animals. The little baby, the little 15-pound female, she found her way back, and we found her 3 or 4 days later. So, that'd be the biggest thing is if they get out of the fence, they're pains in the asses to catch and track down, because they're kind of nervous animals to begin with. It's been my experience. And how many goats? It just depends on how much land, how much area is available for storing, how much land is available for storing them, or for if you're going to have them pastured. I don't recall. You can just easily do a DuckDuckGo search for this, and just how much. I don't remember how many feet it is, but however many feet it is per goat for pasture, and then you just supplement with hay. So yeah, whatever I guess however much land you have, just figure out how much pasture you need, and just do that calculation. That's what I'd say. But what do you think, Alisa?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm getting 3 to initially start with, but that's just because, I want 2 mamas and a boy to start with. But other than that, I don't really have a lot of experience yet. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm starting with 2 girls and a boy. So, I'll see from there. But like I said, I have about half an acre for him to roam around on. And there's like this old abandoned building out here. Like, I'm lucky. Like, you have a lot of stuff you said set up for you. Like, the people here have all these things set up, and I'm just going to have mine living in that building. So I don't even have to build anything for them. So they're going to have a big house and everything already.
Yep, definitely. And yeah, I mean,
but I'll be learning as I go with the goats. Like, I don't know a lot about goats yet. I like I said, my family has some, and, they'll help me, but, I'm just going to be learning as I go.
Yeah. And
how many do you have, did you say?
So I have 3 out there right now. Then the fourth one's in the fourth one is with the neighbor's goats. So he's I know where he is. He's alive. I just have to. The neighbor's gonna give me a call when he gets him penned into a barn. So great.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you found them, though. I mean, yeah, it's great. It's hard when they get away. I mean, like I said, I've had to chase my chickens, but it sucks. But yeah, you got to fence them in. That's another thing. Like, one of your biggest expenses is getting everything fenced in. You have all these animals, but
yeah, I mean,
it's worth it. I'm excited.
Yeah, but by the time it's all said and done, I'll probably have put $1,000 into it. But the way I look at it is I'll have really high quality lamb, goat, and chickens. Well, I guess for the goats and the lamb, it'll be like a dollar per pound of meat or less. Like, it will be so much. It'll be so worth it. And like $1,000 worth of meat, that's like 2 or 3 months. Like, that's not that long. So like, it's a very minor investment. And again, as we've been talking, with financial independence and with self-sufficiency in general, it's if you have the opportunity, do it. And it's kind of sucks here because like I'm a carnivore. I don't eat vegetables. Like, I have some vegetables growing in pots, but I don't want to, like, I'm not going to put a bunch of time into a permaculture farm because I don't eat vegetables, right? But I'm trying to but it's such a waste of space. I've got 22 acres here. And I've got a lot of land for a farm, so I'm trying to get someone I'm close to come here and set up a farm on my property and just manage it and live here. That's the goal. But yeah, just take action. As we've been talking on this podcast for years. So I guess the final question I have for you, Alyssa, because we're coming up here on an hour. Clearly the state of freedom in the world is pretty dire, and I think just from the course of our conversation so far, we kind of can or I guess I can at least kind of guess the answer for this. But what advice or recommendations would you have for people who are seeking more personal freedom in this very totalitarian world? What have you learned?
Well, just everything we've been talking about. I mean, what else can you do but take control of the things that they're controlling? I mean, everybody wants to talk about, how much power they have, and, how we need to fight for our freedom. Like, yeah, everybody's talking about they want to go out and shoot people and they're going to fight the government. But when is that going to happen? I mean, they're already fucking with your life. They're already taking your jobs. They already poison your food. They already control your kids. So no, you're not going to fight them. They already have that control. And the only thing you can do is take control of that back. You have to control your food. You have to control your water. You have to control your energy, and you have to control your own kids. And that's just the only freedom we have right now. We can see that. I mean, we can't even leave our house. I can leave my house. Luckily, I live in a rural area, and this crazy shit has not affected my life. Like,
same here.
When I have to actually go out to the store, and I see how these people they look and how they're acting, then it hits me and it depresses the shit out of me. I can't deal with it. I almost have mental breakdowns every time I go out in public now, because I'll be like, why are you so fucking stupid? And like, why is this happening? Like, I just can't deal with all of these restrictions being put on me at all. Mm-hmm. And like I said, the only thing you can do is make it to where you control everything and you control your atmosphere. Like, part of the reason why, coronavirus isn't stressing me out, or coronavirus hasn't really affected my life so much is because, we have a business, we have our own food, we have, rural land, we're not in the city, all those things. And so that's just it. I mean, the more you do for yourself, the less the things that they do affect you. And so you have to take control of food, water, energy, and your kids especially. So that's all I can say. I mean, that's the only advice I have. You're not going to vote your way out. I don't know if people want to say you should go out and advocate to abolish the government. You're not going to abolish the government.
That's not what any listener of this podcast will expect. No, no, that's not what they're looking for.
Yeah.
No, we talk.
I'm just saying. I know not voting, but we're also not going to abolish the government. I mean, we're not going to abolish. I'm saying I would want to, but I'm just saying that's not even reality either. So even focusing your time. I got to the point, I spent so much time trying to figure out what they're doing to us. So much time researching, 9/11 and JFK and fucking Russiagate and blah, blah, blah. The poison, everything, war, Syria, blah. Yeah. And I learned a lot, but nothing's changed. And us learning these things didn't stop them. And now I realize that I have to focus on educating myself about the things that can help me take care of myself and nourish myself and my family. And that's how I'm going to get ahead of what they're doing. Not knowing what they're doing because I can't stop them, but getting to where what they do just affects me less. So that's the only advice I have for people. And I really hope that people take it because you're not going to this isn't going to get better. Government doesn't give you, freedom back. That's for sure. So.
Yeah. As I've said a number of times in the past couple of months, I mean, there's no going backwards. I mean, the state has never had this much. The state all across the world has never had this much power at one time, and they are not just going to let it go away. So the time for action was yesterday, but the next best time is today, and the very next best time is tomorrow. But
we can only gather ourselves. Exactly, and we can only gather ourselves. It's great to have like-minded people that you want to work with. And I think that's the great thing about social media. I mean, we can get on there, we can learn things about each other, but these are going to have to be individual actions. These are not going to be things that you are going to be able to wait for groups of people to usher in these things for you. These are going to, like I said, things that we have to do freedom is achieved on an individual level, not a group level, not a party level, not a government. It's individual level, and that's how people are going to, that's the only way you're going to get it. So that's all.
Yep. Totally agree. So Alisa, thank you so much for taking the time today. That was a really, really fantastic conversation. I definitely learned some more about raising chickens. Gonna can feed them meat and I'll give them eggshells now. Great.
I know. I'll come to you when I need some help with my goats.
Yes, please do. Hopefully I'll have hopefully I'll have something valuable to offer. But definitely appreciate you coming on. I'll certainly point people in the direction of your Instagram. But was there anything else you wanted to leave the listeners with?
Nope, I'm good.
All right.
Thanks, then. Just have a good day.
Very good. Well, thanks a lot. We'll be in touch. So yeah, as I wrap this up, please check out our sponsor, Liberty Anarchist Publications. Totally understand that funds might be tight right now, but if you are looking for some great anarchist reading material, we've got you covered. You can check out our full catalog by visiting libertyunderattack.com, as well as our special bundles. And also, as I said in the beginning, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe, both here on FascistTube and on BitChute and LBRY, just in case our time here is limited, as I think it inevitably will be. Links can be found in the show notes below. And yeah, the final thing, tomorrow, same time, same place, 11 a.m. Central Time, I'll be live again with Alma Sommer. We'll talk about her off-grid homestead life, her family's time spent sailing, as well as the Jackalope Freedom Festival. So hope to see you tomorrow for another special live stream of the Vonu Podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in, and always remember, Vonu is yours for the making. And make sure to go out and get some sun and get some vitamin D today, guys. Go outside.